Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise My Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I'm Sandra, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live right now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find the content useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape or form, or you just want to give this channel some love. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So in today's video, we're going to talk about if you're asexual and thinking about getting back with your ex, what should you do? But first of all, if you didn't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity book. I'm also the founder of asexualise.com, the founder of Asexualized Academy, and I'm a dating and relationships and life coach for asexuals. So in this video now, I want to talk to you about what should you do if you're thinking about getting back with an ex and you're asexual. So there's a number of things to take into consideration here, and one of them is why you broke up in the first place, right? And people break up for different reasons, but obviously if you are, for example, a sex repulsed asexual, they are a person who loves sex, and you split up with them, and whether it was the reason, the lack of sex or too much sex for you as an asexual to handle, whichever was the case, you know, going back into a relationship with sexual incompatibility is going to be no good for you, however much you liked them. You know, if it was this case that, you know, they were trying to have sex with you, you just couldn't handle it as an asexual, you thought it was really bad, really pressurizing, you didn't like it, you didn't feel comfortable, or maybe that you didn't want sex at all and the sexual was like, come on, I really love you, but I really want you to have sex with me, you know, that is never going to work. So you should not get back with that type of ex because you're sexually incompatible, right? So just because you've had time apart doesn't mean to say one of you has changed their mind. Just like as an asexual person, we don't like it when people say to us, oh, well, I bet you're going to change your mind, or you'll probably change your mind, or it's just a phase, you know? Like, if you still feel the way you do, they still feel the way they do about sex, it's not going to change, right? So don't get back with that type of ex. Number two, if you had toxicity in the relationship, so if it's a very, very unhealthy relationship in any way, shape or form, if it's controlling, manipulating, if you felt belittled, put down, harassed, bullied, uncomfortable, upset and in pain, you know, this is the type of relationship you do not want to go back to. Of course, you're going to have some times when you might upset each other, but it's not coming from a vindictive or manipulative or intentional place. But if you've got someone who's being narcissistic towards you, who's bullying you, who's putting you down, who's making you go a bit insane, you're saying something to them and then they're hitting it back like a tennis ball and framing it that you're the problem. Any of these type of things are manipulation, which is abusive. So you do not want to be getting back with this type of person. Now, this type of person can be very, very addictive because they know how to push your buttons. They know how to say and turn on the charm, as it were, right? If you know deep down inside you this person is no good for you, categorically you should not get back with them. Right, so this includes a toxic person, it includes someone who's ignoring you or neglecting you in the past, all these type of things, right? You do not want to get back with a person like this, right? You do not want to get back with someone like this, right? And thirdly, you know, if for any reason you split up because of anything that wasn't compatible, wasn't good, didn't feel right, then you definitely shouldn't get back with them. Overall, I do not recommend getting back with an ex because unless you have changed in some way or they have changed in some way over a very long period of time and you've developed and grown yourself into the better version of you, the better person for you, and that happens to be the type of person that they want, then you shouldn't get back with them, right? Two people need to change. If you change and you become a much better person, you realize maybe you did some things wrong in the relationship, but there was still some problems with the other person's side, getting back into relationships not going to help you, because you'll have changed and they won't. They'll be the same person as they always were. And this is what happens in most relationships. Most relationships, the person doesn't change. They're still the same. They might act like they've changed for the first few weeks you get back into a relationship with them to entice you, but they're fundamentally, to their core, they do not change. And the moment you get back with them, the moment you'll realise that, usually. Right? And they'll have you under their control. Because if you split up with them and you had the guts to walk away, and then they suddenly appear in your life out of nowhere and are interested in relationship with you again, this is no good, because this means that you are at their beck and call and they've got control over you. It means they can drop you like a hat and years later or months later turn up and like, hey, I'm here again, I'm interested in you now. You do not want to get back with this type of person. Similarly, if you are thinking about a person that wasn't your ex, but someone you really, really wanted to be in a relationship with, but you know who's no good for you, you know it wouldn't work out. Maybe you even discussed it with a person and you realise that you both wouldn't be compatible. This is not the type of person you want to get into a relationship with, right? The reason I'm bringing up this is because I have an asexual friend, very sweet asexual friend actually, who watches this channel sometimes. Hello to you. And he was badly let down by a person because they were meant to meet him and they never even bothered to confirm that they were coming on the train that day, and it's brought the whole day off. And I asked them if this person was an ex, and they said, well, it was someone I wanted to be in a relationship with since being a teenager, basically. And they still had, they still have romantic feelings for them, but they said they knew the person was no good for them. And they said they even had to ask them to show them a photograph of the ticket to prove they were coming, and then they never phoned up to say they were coming anyway to confirm it. So this type of person, I told them, is someone you need to block, right? He said that he hadn't heard from her for ages, and all of a sudden she messaged him, right? If someone isn't in your life for years, they suddenly message you, they're suddenly interested in meeting up with you, and especially if you're a romantic person, right? They'll have romantic motives or manipulation and control motives, right? If this person was an ex and it didn't work out before and you know they're bad for you, you need to block this type of person in your life. Don't answer their messages. Block on Facebook, block on Twitter, block on TikTok, block on LinkedIn, block on Instagram. Block their phone number from your phone. Block them out, right? You cannot move forward in your life into a deeply loving, committed, caring, healthy relationship while you're still hankering after a past relationship or a past person. I have met so many asexual guys that are seriously still in love with an ex or love with the person they met as a teenager, right? And they've established this person they can't be in a relationship with. So they waste years and years of their life having feelings for this person and continuing some sort of connection or possible connection, rather than letting them go consciously and moving on so they can open their heart up to someone who deserves it, who'll love them for who they are and who'll be in the present moment with them. It's like they're still in the past. Their heart is still in the past. They're still with this person, right? This is not healthy or good. You can't take this type of thing to a new relationship. It spells disaster. And it also means you're easily controlled by other people, right? It's not an attractive trait to have. If someone can literally not talk to you, then years later, all over a sudden, like, oh, yeah, everything's fine again. They didn't bother with you for years and they couldn't care less, especially if they come back into your life and they're just being as flaky as they ever were. This person needs to be cut from your life. They're not interested in you. They're only interested in you when they're interested in you. And sadly, there's a number of these people in the world. Not all of them are to do with relationships. Some of them literally only contact you when they want something. And that type of person's just got the ulterior motive of using you, basically, which is sad, I think, but it's true. Right? So we have to wake up to the reality of the situation, I block. people in my past, you know, people that are bad for me, relationships that were no good for me. You know, these people are blocked. They're out of my life. And I will not speak to them if I see them in person. I don't want anything to do with these type of people. You know? It's not healthy. And, you know, you might say, oh, well, with my ex, it wasn't actually like that. Like, we got on, right? So in this case scenario, when you got on, but your exes, right? You got on, but your exes, right? You have to understand that usually two people still have feelings for each other years later. If they got on, they usually have some type of feeling for each other. And if one or both of you has that, then you can't move forward in a new relationship if you're still hankering after the feelings for another person, right? No person deserves to be second best to someone else. So if you're in love with someone else or feeling and thinking of someone else, you're not fully present for the new person in your life. You can't fully see that what's in front of you because you're too busy having feelings for that other person. You need to let them go. You can do this very consciously. You can say, look, thanks, you know, if you have kept your messenger open, thanks very much. I appreciate you contacting me. That's nice of you, but, you know, I've moved on with my life now, and I think it's best if we leave it and don't speak to each other again. You know, I had an Indian guy come back into my life. He broke my heart in 2014 when I first found out I was asexual Indian guy, right? We were having conversations, and then he just suddenly went quiet, and he turned a bit, he said something that wasn't very nice, and it really upset me. And anyway, that's the year I found out my soulmate's Indian, actually, even though I wasn't treated very well by Indian guys that year, because I had another sexual Indian guy later on. He wasn't asexual, a sexual one, who said, oh yeah, I was going to come over to Canada, go to Canada, but I'm thinking about coming to the UK instead to be with you, but I can't be a virgin all my life. So he thought he was just going to come over to the UK, have me as his girlfriend or whatever, and have sex with other women, which was completely not on, right? But that was the year I found out I had like soul connection with an Indian guy, so I had the most amount of traction for them. So anyway, it didn't put me off them. But, you know, but this particular Indian guy, the first one that broke my heart, right, he turned back up in my life. I can't remember if it's the last year. And he wrote me a message on Facebook saying, hey, you know, I'm sorry about what happened before. I've got a girlfriend now, but I'd like you in my life as a friend. And then he put something at the end about, oh, I'm sorry you felt that way, like it was my problem again, still not realizing his mistake. And so, yeah, I told him, I said, look, I appreciate you contacting me. Thanks very much for your apology, even though it was half-hearted, because it was basically one of those, I'm apologizing, saying I'm sorry for the sake of it, but I'm not really sorry because I don't think I've done anything wrong type apologies. Do you know what I mean? Like, sorry you were this, sorry you were that, rather than saying I'm sorry that I was an ass, right? So anyway, I told him, I said, you know, thanks very much, thanks for your apology, but I don't think it's a good idea we stay in contact. I've moved on now, and that's it, and I think it's best. And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely agree with you. But at the end of the day, why is a guy who I knew years ago, who was interested in me romantically, got a girlfriend, then seeking me out on Facebook to be my friend? That is dodgy as F. It basically means he wants his cake and eat it. He can have his new girlfriend and still keep me as a friend on the side. That's what it means. I have no need to speak to that person ever again in my life. No need. It's no need. Just because someone says they want to be friends with you doesn't mean to say you have to be friends with them. You have a choice in life. We all have choices. You know, I look for a guy in a relationship who's boundary driven, who can say no to exes, who can say no to new women, who is strong and knows exactly what he wants. And if a woman comes up to him or comes onto him, he's like, not interested. You know, whether he's at a club or a pub, whether he's in front of his mates or whatever. You know, this is the type of strong guy I need. Not someone who's like, oh, well, she's come back into my life. I like her. Oh, well, we can be friends type thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. Right? It doesn't work. I think guys can be polite to women, but I think there's some women you just need to say, take a hike. I'm not interested. You know? And You need someone who's going to be boundary driven, who's going to be strong, who's going to know what they want. And if their ex is easily able to influence them years later, you know that they're an easily influenced person. What does this mean? It means they're going to be influenced by other women in their life, not just that one. It means that, you know, that it's very difficult to trust that type of person 100%, because they've always got that, you know, kind of like worry with them that, you know, if someone turns up in their life years later, they're just gonna like be easily persuaded by them, you know. And so you've got to look for someone in your present and future relationship who is the right person for you. You know, this means doing what's right, not always what's easy. So if you're an asexual person who thinks, but I can't get anyone else, I'm asexual, I don't like sex, I can't get anyone else, no one wants me because I'm asexual, you have to stop thinking that way. You have to come from an abundance mindset and think there's thousands of asexuals around the globe. And some people who are not asexual can actually live without sex as well. And at the end of the day, it's better to be single than be with someone who's toxic for you or trying to manipulate or control you and just come back into your life when they damn well please and think they can ask you to do something and that's it. You just do it and jump for it, right? You don't owe them anything, right? Just because you're past history, you don't owe them anything. You don't have to stay friends with them. It's better to cut your losses and cut them out of your life. And actually, they're not a loss. It's a privilege to say, I'm moving on because I've grown and learnt from the experience. Now I'm moving on. That's it, you know? You don't need to be friends with all these. Some people are like, oh, but you didn't end badly. Maybe you didn't end badly. But I've had some guys that I've been attracted to, they've been attracted to me and they've been asexual. And we've both agreed to move on because I have feelings for them. Or they have feelings for me. And it's not healthy to take that to a new relationship. It's not right. Why should my future partner have to put up with me having relationships for a previous ex in that way and keeping in contact with them, keeping it alive? You know, it's better to do my future partner the respect of saying, hey, you know, we don't need to be in each other's lives. You know, the ex, we don't need to be in each other's lives. We've done what we need to do. We're here for each other when we need to be here, but that's it. You know, you move on to your relationship, I'll move on to my relationship, you know? But it's easier to just say, oh, yeah, this is an ex, this is very familiar, even if it's toxic, you know? Oh, and I'll go back to them. But don't do what's easy, do what's right. If you go back with a toxic person, you know they're going to be toxic for you. And they're going to be more so because they'll be going, ha, 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 they came back to me. Oh, yeah. I've got them right where they want them. And this is what I see actually in relationships that are very controlling. Like they think that the person will never leave them, so they can do what they like to them. You have to be prepared to walk away, but not just that, walk away for good. So many people say they're going to walk away, they never do. And the ones that do, usually they walk away and the ex will drag them back again because they allow it. You know, you have a choice in life. It's you who decides where your ex comes back into your life or not, right? And you can't usually give your heart fully to someone else in the future if you're hankering after someone else in the past. Maybe you need to bring up the fact that it's over between you and them before it even ever started, because maybe you've got some past history with this person. You feel like you've always need to get it off your chest and you just need to send a message, say, hey, I really liked you in the past, you know, and I realise we're not compatible, so I'm moving on now, and I don't think we should speak again for our own sakes and our future partner's sakes, but I wish you all the best, you know, because maybe you need to end it. Maybe you haven't had that conclusion yourself. And because it's not concluded, you know, you're still hankering after something that maybe, what if, right? It's better just to let it go, you know? Better to let it go. Don't do what's easy, do what's right. And right may be hard. And probably is going to be hard, you know, because it's not going to be easy usually. But you have to have the ability to walk away and stay away from these people that are no good for you, that are incompatible with you, that are not going to be good for your future relationship. Do you know what I mean? And especially if someone comes into your life who hasn't been in it and they're just using you. They're not reliable. You can't trust them. You don't know where you stand with them. These type of people don't ever get back with, right? I have known of one person getting back with an ex. One person that's personally in real life, like not someone on the internet that said I've got back with my ex. I personally know one person in my old job that got back with their ex-husband. Well, there wasn't a husband years ago. They had a kid with them and they were teenagers at the time. And she got, I think she got, was she married to him before? Anyway, she got married to him. She might have been married and then got remarried to him. But she got married to him in the end. And they were together and he is the dad of her kid. And he went away for years and he grew up a lot and changed a lot and she trusted him again. As far as I know, they're still happily married. So I'm not saying it can never, ever work out, but that is one person out of hundreds and thousands that I come across. I mean, there are occasionally ones that you hear of on the internet, you know, but this person is someone I used to work with, you know, which I think is very different just hearing it on the internet. So I'm not saying it can never ever happen, but in order for it to happen, you'd both have to have got over your problems and issues. You both have to know that you're going to be compatible in the present moment, not what if it had been this way years ago. And you both have to accept each other for who you are now, not who you wanted the person to be years ago, you know. And you have to basically both have changed and both have grown and developed yourself and both want the relationship as it is, not hankering after the past. And you have to forgive the other person. If you've got 1 ounce of resentment for them or they did something you didn't like, it's not going to work because you're always going to bring it back up for that person, right? And as far as I know, this person wasn't abusive to them, but they did cheat on them, I think. So it's not good, you know. I personally wouldn't go back to someone who's cheated on me because I could never, ever trust them again. Ever. I just couldn't. Right? That's me. And I think for the majority of people, it's very, very the same, right? Once that trust is broken for me, that's it. Once the guy starts lying to me, that's it. I can't trust him, you know? So anyway, no one's perfect, but don't get back with an ex. It called your ex for a reason, and that's because it didn't work out. You weren't compatible. You were unsuitable. So what makes you think anything's changed for the better forever? Right? Why do you want to go down that path again? Because there's so many other people to love in the world, people that are really genuine, kind, caring people. Like I always say, you can't give your heart fully to someone else in the present or future if you're still carrying some sort of torch flame or feeling for someone in the past. You need to fully move on. You know, I don't want to be with a guy who's talking to his ex, who's seeing his ex, especially knowing he's still got romantic feelings for her. You know, I would like to be the first love of a guy's life. Would be amazing, healthy love. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'd like to be, you know. But either way, the person needs to move on. If you're not the first love of their life, they still need to have moved on so that it's the slate's like clean. They don't have those type of feelings anymore for that person. It's gone, it's vanished. And so it's like a new relationship. It's like a new love. It's like the first fresh love. You know, and you have to know that you can trust them with their exes. If their ex does show up, to have boundaries in place, not to be easily persuaded or manipulated or controlled by them. It's very, very important. So please, please, please understand as well, just because you're asexual doesn't mean to say you can't get someone better. You know, because you can. I see asexual settling. I've got to settle for this because, you know, who else is going to want to be with me? You know, and if I tell them I'm asexual, it's going to ruin the relationship. And like, you know, I'll just speak to this person. It doesn't matter if they have sex with someone else because basically it's the best relationship I can get right now. You know, it's like, no, you shouldn't settle. If you really want a polyamorous relationship and you're okay with your person sleeping with, you know, you've got a highly sexual partner and you're okay with them sleeping with however many people, then that's fine. But if that partner then gets into a relationship with someone else and they want monogamy, is that partner then going to leave you anyway? Do you know what I mean? Like, and are you just settling when you could get an asexual relationship, even if it took you a long time? Like, I'm prepared to wait like 10 years for me to find the right asexual relationship for me, or be single forever if I need to be, because I don't want to get with the wrong person. When you feel with the wrong person, the right one cannot come in to your life, to your heart, and be with you. You know, so however long it takes me, I'll wait. You know, it would be easy for me to get with someone who wasn't right for me just for the sake of it, knowing full well that's not who I want to spend the rest of my life with. And that would be tragic for them and for me, especially if we both develop feelings for each other. But I just thought it's not quite right, you know? So that's why it's better to wait for the right person, to keep growing and developing yourself, to keep creating opportunities for yourself. You know, like, go out as much as you can. Talk to people online. Talk to people in different dating groups. Talk to people on forums. You know, you never know where there's going to be an asexual person. Some asexuals are in dating groups that aren't for asexuals because they don't even know that other asexual groups, you know, that asexual groups exist. Or maybe there are a few asexual groups, but they're still in other dating groups because they don't know all the asexual groups, you know? And maybe that as asexuals that just don't realize they're asexual, you know? So the world is wide, it's big, and there's vast amounts of opportunity out there. So don't start settling for second best. Don't start settling for an ex, and don't keep hankering. Actually fully reflect on how you feel about this person and get them out of your life for good. You know, like, I met someone on a dating site that wasn't for asexuals. I became friends with him on Facebook. And then he's sending me, and then he said that I only want to be friends with you, which I thought maybe he's asexual. But no, it was because he was still in love with his ex. His ex is married to another guy, and he's video and chatting with her and still in love with her. And basically, he only wants to be friends with anyone else because he's in love with her. And because of her culture, she's married to someone else. So they're video chatting, obviously having this love type of relationship over the internet, while she's married to someone else and he can't be with anyone else. He can only be friends with other people because he still loves her. So he's like reserved for her, even though she is married to someone else. This is not a good scenario, people. Right? You need to cut ties in these type of things, right? Either the person shouldn't get married to the person in the first place just for their religion or their culture. I know you won't like me saying that, but it's true. You shouldn't get married for religion or culture. You should get married because you want to get married and because you love the person, not for some religious or cultural belief that you've got to then spend your rest of your life living up to, even though it's not true to who you are. Right? You shouldn't be doing that. You should be having your own life, having your independence, and going against the grain, as it were. Being your true, authentic self, not living someone else's life. You know, some cultures you're just living for your parents all the time. The next generation lives for their parents. The next generation lives for their parents. When does it ever end? When do you have your own life? When does the circle of your life begin? You know? If you're meant to be with someone else and you're in a relationship and married to someone, but you're meant to be with someone else, don't get married to that person in the first place. Be with someone you're meant to be with. No matter what colour, race, sexuality, sexual orientation, ethnicity they are. You know? Sod what people think. At the end of the day, it's your life. You've only got one life, people. You could be gone tomorrow. One life. Do you want to sit back on your deathbed and think, oh, well, I did this to please my parents. I made them happy. What about your happiness? What about making you happy? What about pleasing yourself? That is more important, to be quite frank with you. Don't be a people pleaser. Be a you pleaser. Please yourself. Right? It's very, very important. Okay? Love yourself. Be true to who you are. And don't accept second best. Don't sell. Don't accept an ex back in your life who's bad for you. And if you know, and just don't accept and just cut ties and move on. You have to learn to detach, move on, so that the right person can come along for you and love you for who you are and give you all the love in the world. And you can give everything love-wise to them as well. Because you have enough to give, because you're not draining it into some relationship that can never be, because it's wrong for you. Right? There are wonderful people out there. There are gorgeous people out there. There are people who want to be loved, want to be cherished. And they need your time, attention, caring. You know, I have my love reserved for my future partner. I already love them. I haven't met them yet, but I love them. My love is reserved for that future partner. Right? Yes, I love my friends, but romance-wise, I have love reserved for that future partner. Until someone comes along that fits the ideal description of my future partner and who wants me as much as I want them to be in a relationship with me and fulfills all my deal breaker criteria, then I'm staying single forever, because I do not want to get with the wrong person, even though it'd be easy for me to get with someone who's not going to be right for me long term. It'd be a lot easier because in the short term, it'd probably work out. But long term, I would always be thinking, what if I followed my dreams? What if I went after what I really wanted in a relationship? And that's what I encourage you to do. However absurd it may seem, if you know that you want a certain type of person, be crystal clear on what you want and keep going towards your path until you get it. Keep going on your path towards your goals, ambitions, and dreams with relationships, with the love of your life. Make space in your life now for them. Think how they're going to fit into your life right now before they've even arrived. Start focusing on the present moment and your future partner. Stop hankering after the past and focus on the present and future. Woo! Moth. I keep getting moths. That one just came right up in my face. That's a little baby one. Hello, little baby moth. And my spirit totem. So yeah, see, talking about love and relationships. Get me a nice one. But yeah, so it's very, very important that you do, make space for that person. I can't love someone else when I love the new person that I already love before they're even arrived. I'm excited for getting to be with the right person, but I'm excited to spend the next 10 years of my own single life and have loads of fun. I don't need to settle down right now, but if someone comes along as the right person in the meantime, great. But why settle for second best? Why settle for something you know is not what you really want in your intuition, in your desire, in your need? Don't settle. Don't go back to an ex. They're your ex for a reason. Move on. Cut ties. Be you. Love yourself implicitly. Move on. Move forward with your life. And do not be used by these people. Do not be with someone who's no good for you. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, till next time, embrace your quirky and natures. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to say anything about this video, please comment below in the comment descriptions below this video. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like that, I post a new video. And like I said, don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you find it helpful, insightful, useful anyway. Or if you think someone might benefit from the information in this video, please share it with any friends. As always, stay quirky, stay beautiful, ace you, and I'll see you on the next video live stream. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.